Hey everybody, Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm chatting with Justin about his 2013 Silverado 1500. For wheels, he's running 20x12 hard rock tanks with a negative 44mm offset, making for an aggressive stance. For tires, he's got the General Grabber X3s in 33x12.5 R20s. And then for suspension, he's got the MotoFab 3-inch front, 2-inch rear leveling kit. First question to start us off here, tell me about what your intention was for this setup. Did you have a specific usage case in mind, or was there something that inspired your overall build?
So when I was always little, I always saw these trucks driving around. My dad always had a lot too, and so I kind of wanted to build that truck how I wanted it, because it's been my dream truck since I was little. And now that I have it, I just wanted to do that type of stuff to it. And I see other trucks like it that look the same. And I feel like I can make my truck fit in, like building it like how it is.
So let's dive in here. I want to start with the wheels. So again, you're running the 20x12 hard rock tanks with a negative 44mm offset, making for an aggressive stance. So you've got some poke coming out from the fenders here. What do you like about this wheel? What drew you to it initially?
I just kind of like the inside of the wheel. It's not too much. It still makes the truck look good, and just the offset. I like a little bit of poke, so I went with these wheels.
So these are pretty much all black, correct?
They have like a slight a bit of chrome just on the edges, but it's not much. Mainly it's just black.
Was there any other type of consideration? Were you thinking about a different style or a different color of wheel, or was it just those are the ones?
I was looking kind of towards chrome too. It's either those or between chrome, but black goes with really anything, so you can just kind of throw them on and it'll still look great. Yeah, my truck still has chrome to it, so just having that little bit of chrome still makes all the chrome on the truck pop still too.
So again, the stance of these is pretty aggressive, so you've got some poke coming out from the fenders. What made you go with this with an offset? I know you said you wanted a little bit of poke, so were these the size that you had in mind from the beginning, or were you shopping around to figure out what you wanted?
So I've always wanted, it's had 20x12s, but I didn't have the kind of like lift to get wider, or else I would have gone wider. So with what I'm running right now, 20x12s was good enough to where I didn't have to do a lot of trimming on the inside, but I didn't have to like not be able to turn either, so they were just right in the middle. I've always wanted to do 20x12s, but it's just, I wanted to do wide so I had some poke, but also you run into the one where you have to do either a lot of trimming or a little bit, and so I just kind of went with those.
So let's kind of talk about the tires. You're running the General Grabber X3s, and these are 33x12.5. So these are a pretty significant increase versus what the truck would have had stock. I know you said the goal with your wheels was you always wanted the 20x12s and you wanted that stance. Did you set out with the intention of having the 33s from the get-go here?
Yeah, I wanted to try to go small enough to where you didn't have like a rubber band almost, like where the rim is sticking out of the tire. Most people go with 35s. Like I said, I didn't have the room to do 35s, so I kind of resorted to in the middle and went to 33s.
So these are something that we're seeing a bit more of. They're kind of branded as sort of a hybrid all-terrain and mud-terrain. They're technically an all-terrain, but they have some of the properties like that aggressive tread pattern of the mud terrain. So that being said, how do these drive? Are you noticing a lot of noise? Are they bumpy? Anything like that?
Like you said, they're mainly all-terrain, but they have the tread of a mud. They ride like a mud. They're loud, they whistle. So they rock a little bit, they don't rock too much. If you're on like a solid road, you're just gonna hear the whistle. Other than that, they ride fine.
So you said that you're using these like going down dirt roads. Have you noticed any issues with grip, or are you pretty happy with how they're performing?
I'm pretty happy with how they're performing. They grip pretty well even on dirt roads and even gravel roads really. So I'm fine with how they're performing. They're performing great.
Again, they're bigger and you've got kind of a wider stance going on. How would you compare the ride and handling versus your stock wheel and tire setup?
I did have a lot more handling with these than I did my stocks, just because they have better grip. My stocks were kind of low on tread and they were also street tires, so I didn't really get the grip that these mud tires have. So I feel like I get better grip from these a lot more.
Have you noticed any difference in like the stability of it? Because again, the truck it's got a wider stance now. Do you feel anything different going through a turn, or?
It feels like it turns like a lot heavier instead of with my stock wheels. I could just turn and not have to worry. Now I'm trying to like turn and it's turning heavy.
Since you upsize these, have you noticed any error with the speedometer or the odometer since you've been driving on them?
Not much. The only thing I've noticed is my gas mileage. It only dropped just 1.
So did you notice the truck feeling sluggish or anything? I know you said it feels a little bit heavier in the wheel when you're turning it, but has it felt slower or anything like that?
It takes me a little bit longer to get up to speed just a little bit when I was running my stock wheels, but not like a major drop or anything.
So let's talk about the suspension too. So again, you're running the MotoFab 3-inch front, 2-inch rear leveling kit. So this was something that you did before the wheels and tires, right?
Yes, this is something I did way before the wheels and tires.
So what then made you go with this setup and size of lift?
I didn't want it too high, but I also didn't want it super low because I wanted to run 20 by 12. So I kind of went with in the middle option, like I said. So this leveling kit still gives me enough clearance where I only have to do a minimum amount of trimming, and then the back's just the back.
So what kind of trimming did you have to do once you put the wheels and tires on?
I only had to trim just a little bit of the inside fender well, and then in the back I just had to trim like the little bit of fender well. I only had to kind of beat in the metal piece, and then I have enough clearance.
So what was it doing, catching on like the front when you were at full lock?
I wasn't even at full lock when it was catching. I was like barely turning, and you could start to hear it make like rubbing noises.
So now that you've got all that trimmed up and ready to go, then there's no issues with anything, right?
No.
Kind of had a nice progression here because you had the truck stock, you did the lift, then you did the wheels and tires. So how does the ride and like the ride quality of the truck compare with the lift versus stock?
So on my stock, it kind of had like a lean in the front. It rode fine just because I didn't have lift upgrades to it. But after I put the leveling kit on, I did experience just some rougher riding just because I don't have all just the components to make it ride better. I do plan to do that in the future. But right now it's good on like smooth paved roads, but if you get like a little bump or two, it does ride a little bit rough.
Did it change or improve when you did the wheels and tires?
It improved a little bit.
Did you have any issues getting the alignment on the truck done once you had the leveling kit fitted?
I didn't have many issues getting the alignment done. It was super fast, and then it rode a lot better.
How do you think it looks with this whole setup? Are you happy with the way that it is right now?
I'm super happy with how it came out. Like I said, it's been my dream truck since I was little, and now seeing it and now having it and seeing it how I've created it, it mind blows me.
Knowing what you know now then, is there anything that you would do differently if you had to start it all over again?
Probably just a little bit of higher lift, just so I didn't have to do that trimming. Other than that, really nothing.
So now the big question is, what is coming next? Because I know you kind of alluded to that a moment or two ago when we were talking about the suspension. So what are your plans?
In the future, I do plan to get a higher lift for it, maybe just for some extra clearance. I want to do chrome and maybe upgrade to 22 by 14s. Really, other than that, probably just minor decal mods or something like that.
All right, well, Justin, thank you so much for being here with me today and chatting about your truck. I'm interested to see what you do next.
Thank you for having me.
As a reminder for everyone who is watching at home, Justin is driving a 2013 Silverado 1500. He's got the Hard Rock tanks. These are 20 by 12s with a negative 44 millimeter offset, making for an aggressive stance. For tires, he's got the General Grabber X3s, and these are 33 by 12.5s. And then for suspension, he's got the MotoFab 3-inch front, 2-inch rear leveling kit. So Justin, thank you again for being here with me today. Thank you all for watching, and remember, for all things Silverado, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.